We begin by importing the required Angular decorators and classes. Component is the decorator that allows us to define a class as an Angular component. Renderer2 is a service that we use to manipulate elements in a way that's also safe from web attacks like XSS. ElementRef is a service that grants us direct access to the DOM element through its native element property. Lastly, OnInit is an interface that requires the implementation of the OnInit Lifecycle hook method. Here, we decorate our class with that component, giving it a selector to be used in HTML and defining the template inline. Note that the template consists of a simple button element with a reference variable named myButton. This can be used for direct DOM access if needed. This line of code defines the class myComponent, which implements the OnInit Lifecycle hook interface. By implementing OnInit, we are telling Angular that we want to perform some actions when this component is initialized. In the constructor of our component, we inject the renderer2 and ElementRef services. They are marked as private, indicating they can only be accessed within this class. Renderer2 will be used to listen to events, while ElementRef will give us a reference to the host element of the component. Inside the OnInit method, we execute code when the component initializes. The first task is to grab a reference to our button element. We do this by using the querySelector method on our ElementRef's native element property, which points to our component's root DOM element. Next, we use the renderer2 service to listen to click events on the button. We call the listen method, pass the button element, specify the event to listen for, which is click in this case, and provide a callback function that will be triggered whenever the event occurs. This method returns a function that we call onListen. If called, onListen will remove the event listener. This commented out line shows how you would call the onListen function to stop listening for click events on the button. It's not needed right now, but it's useful to know how to clean up event listeners to prevent memory leaks, especially for elements that may be destroyed as part of your app's dynamic behavior. This closes our OnInit method, which is all the setup we need to start handling button click events. Lastly, we have our handleClick method. It accepts an event object and simply logs a message along with the event to the console. This method will be called every time the button is clicked, and we can include any logic here that should occur in response to that action. And with that, our myComponent class is complete, ready to handle click events using renderer2.